Shalom. First and foremost, I like to say, call halal, like how about Shalom Ashiach Yashai. That is to say, all praises to the Most High God Yahweh, who's only begotten saying how Shai, who the word of them called Jesus Christ, right? It's the soldier guy Sean coming at y'all with another sit down, another lesson. Lord willing, it edifies and exhorts the brothers and sisters out there laboring in the truth, right? And especially in these times that we're in, it exhorts us to stay in the spirit, right? To be dedicated to the scripts more so now than ever, right? So, the topic that I want to address in this video is, do our people actually love their own soul? Do our people show love to each other, right? To themselves, right? So, what do I mean by that? I'm just going to get a few precepts to show what I mean by that. Let's not rant, right? So, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 8. So, like, yeah, he that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul, and he that keepeth understanding shall find good, right? So, we know that the wisdom, the law, statutes, and commandments are our wisdom, right? Our people have strayed away from that. So, the question I want to pose to our people is, do you truly love your own soul if you're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Scripture says that the commandments are not grievous to us, therefore our benefit, right? So, if you're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, do you really love your own soul, right? You're going out there eating pork, you're going out there committing adultery, right? Cheating on your husband, your wife, etc., etc. Do you really love your own soul, right? Things of that nature. I'm just going to bring it out again. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 8. He that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul, and he that keepeth understanding shall find good. That's why people are destroyed out here. We don't find any good because we've strayed away from our law, statutes, and commandments, our understanding, right? According to Deuteronomy 4 and 5, our understanding and our wisdom inside of the nations, right? Because we strayed away from that, we don't find any good, right? Because we don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, we're murdered in the streets, we're gunned down in the streets, we're groping at noonday, right? We've been led captivity into every nation under the earth because we strayed from our understanding. And we ourselves hate each other, right? Because we don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, which are for our good, right? If something is for your benefit and you don't keep it, by and large, subconsciously, you have to hate yourself on some level if you're choosing to kill yourself, right? Let's get another precept in Jeremiah, right? So this is the book of Jeremiah, 8, verse 3. And death shall be chosen rather than life. Salakia. And death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of them that remain of this evil family, which remain in all the places whither I have driven them, saith the Lord, right? So if you're choosing death, right, that's our people. If you're choosing death on some level, you have to hate yourself, right? Right? You have to want to see yourself dead or want to see yourself perish if you're choosing death at every turn, right? If you're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. So that's the question that's been in my soul for the past couple of days that I've been trying to figure out. Do our people truly love one another? And I think by and large the answer is no, because 2/3 of us are going to perish. So by and large our people do not love themselves. They don't love their own souls because they don't keep the commandments, right? They rather feel death. They rather choose death. That's wickedness, right? That's madness. Let's get another precept in Isaiah. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So wisdom and knowledge are going to be the stability. What wisdom and knowledge? The wisdom and knowledge contained in these books. In these books, that's going to be the stability in time. That's going to be the stability, right? Until I get. That's going to be the stability and strength of salvation, right? Our people don't come to this book. Our people are out there doing whatever, right? That's why we're groping. We're not stable, right? We don't know where we want to go. We're doing everything under the sun, right? We're into Islam. We're into Christianity. We're into Buddhism. We're not stable because we don't have true knowledge, right? We don't have true knowledge and prophecy, right? That's where we got to come back to this, right? We don't love our souls. We reject wisdom at every turn, right? That's why the Most High has rejected us, right? So let's get Sirach 32. And 14. Right, so this is the book of Sirach, chapter 32, verse 14. Whoso feareth the Lord will receive discipline, and they that seek him early shall find favor. We don't fear the Lord. That's our problem, right? The Most High God, the creator of heaven and earth, the almighty power, the Al-Shadja, the fierce demonic-like power that people feared back in the day, that wiped out a whole world and left just 8 souls alive. That same power, we don't fear him, right? You're choosing destruction, and again, we hate ourselves because we're choosing death by not fearing the Most High. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom, and wisdom bringeth life. If we're not fearing the Most High, we're choosing death. Simple as that. Right, so I want to implore brothers and sisters to come back to the fear of the Most High. I want to implore brothers and sisters to stop whatever madness it is they're doing, right? If it doesn't have anything to do with the law, statutes, and commandments, and the faith in Yahweh Shai Mashiach, stop that BS and come back to the Most High God, right? Come back to your true nationality, your true heritage, because none of that is going to profit you, right? Every other thing you're doing under the sun that's not this, you're hating your own soul subconsciously. It's not going to bring you prosperity. It's going to bring you destruction, and you're choosing destruction in your ways. Right? The Most High in Deuteronomy 30. Let's get that. Right? And the Most High in Deuteronomy 30 tells you to choose life. Right? So this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, good and death, and the commandment, and that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, and to walk his ways, and keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. So that's how you live and multiply. So that's you choosing life. By keeping his commandments, you're choosing life. But by you rejecting his commandments, you're choosing death, right? You're grieving your own soul. So I believe scripture says that. Let's see if I can find that. Bear with me for a second. He has agree with his own soul. It's Proverbs 8:36. All praises. That just popped into my mind. I had to get that. So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 36. He that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul, and all they that hate me love death. Right? So if you don't have the fear of the Most High, if you don't have the love of the Most High, if you're sinning, you're grieving your own soul. In the end, you're not hurting anybody but yourself. Right? And you love death if you hate the Most High. Right? And that goes back to the Deuteronomy 30 and 15 that I brought up. Choose life. Don't choose death. You're choosing death by turning away from the commandments, which in turn is hating the Most High. Because hate is an action. If you hate somebody, you just detest all of their ways. You don't do anything that they tell you to do, any advice, any counsel that they give you, you turn away. You shun. And that's what we do. In reference to the commandments, anything that the Most High gives us, we shun away. We as a people hate the Most High. And I keep saying we as a people because the Most High deals with us as a people, right? We ourselves have to get right as a whole nation, otherwise we're not getting, well, not ourselves as a nation, just the elect have to be sealed for us to get out of here, right? But we as a whole nation landed ourselves in this captivity. The Most High deals with people as a nation, right? So one of us might be keeping the law, statutes, commandments, but we need 144,000 of us to be keeping the law, statutes, commandments. We need the elect, right? And eventually all of Israel needs to keep the commandments, but the starting line is the elect to keep the commandments. That's why we're out here, right? To show the elect that they don't love their own souls if they're not keeping the law, statutes, commandments. And you don't love your own soul or your people, right? Because you're sinning and you're teaching others to sin by your lifestyle, especially those of our people that are leading the community, right? Let's get that in Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 1. Woe unto the pastor that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, save the Lord. Not only the pastors, but the leaders also. The LeBron Jameses going out there wearing dresses, making everybody think that it's okay to wear a dress, right? Being effeminate. You're leading your people astray. You're a leader, right? They be leaders, they be blind leaders leading Salakia. I don't want to butcher that. that saying, so let me get that. blind leaders of the blind, right? And it was Yahushua Mashiach that said it in Matthew, right? Let's get that. Matthew 14, 15, so I get verse 14. Let them alone, they be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch, right? All these pastors, right? All these leaders of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you're blind leaders. And they're leading you into a ditch. It's not okay to be effeminate. It's not okay to sleep with your neighbor's wife. It's not okay to rap about killing your brother. It's not okay to do none of that, to glorify him, to make your brother think it's okay to do so, and that he will be uplifted if he does that in his community. It's not okay to do that. You're all going to fall into a ditch if you do that, right? And you're grieving your own soul in the process because you're sinning against the Most High. You don't love your own soul. We're here to teach you what true love is, right? That's why you see the Israelites in the street corners trying to bid our people back to the marriage, because we love you. We want what's good for you, right? Our people don't truly love one another, right? They'd sell a pack of cigarettes to each other. That's not love. You're killing your neighbor. Right, but scripture says, he that is evil to himself, to who shall he be good? You've been taught no better, so what are you going to teach? You can only teach what you know, and you only know evil. We're here to teach you the good, which is the law, statutes, and commandments, which is to stop killing yourself, right? Which is to stop hating yourselves. Subconsciously, you hate yourself. Through your actions, we see it clear as day that you hate yourself. You're slowly killing yourself. You're choosing death at every turn. That's an action of self-hatred. If you're choosing death at every turn, if you're choosing to kill yourself and not live, right? You're trying to commit suicide. You must hate yourself at some point, right? So let's get wisdom of Solomon 6, right? Because our people also lack discipline. So this is the book of wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 17. For the very true beginning of the very true beginning of wisdom is discipline, right? We don't love our own soul because we'd rather not have any responsibilities. We'd rather not be disciplined in anything, right? We'd rather not have any responsibilities so we can do whatever we want. There's no wisdom in that, right? You don't have any structure. There's no order to your life. That's why you're foolish. You don't have any structure or order to your life. And wisdom brings order, right? If your soul is in disorder by sinning, right, wisdom is not going to enter into you. Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 4 tells you that, right? For the very true beginning of her is discipline, the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love. And love is the keeping of her laws, right? You don't love your own soul if you're not keeping the laws, right? Wisdom brings you love, and love is the keeping of her laws. What laws? The laws of the Most High God. If you're not keeping those laws, you don't love yourself or the people around you. If you're not keeping the laws, and if you're not keep teaching the people around you to keep the laws, you don't love yourself and you don't love them. And that's hatred. And you can't hate your brother in your heart, right? And love is the keeping of her laws, and the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption, right? That's why I will walk out here, right? And we're not assured if we're going to walk back or not, because we as a nation are not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, right? It's the assurance of immortality. It's the assurance that you're not going to go out there and get gunned down by a white man who's not going to hold himself guilty, right? Who's going to get off with paid vacation for taking your life, a life that's irreplaceable, a life that's so valuable in the eyes of the Most High. But again, our self-hatred is what landed us here. Us not keeping the laws is what landed us here, right? So our people got to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments, truly love one another, right? Truly keep the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High has kept for us, because it's not grievous at all. It's actually love. It's literally, a friend of mine brought this out, pointed this out to me, right? And I thought it was really brilliant that he did, right? So the law is literally the blueprint to perfection. That's what the Most High gave to you, the blueprint to perfection, to be the most perfect nation on earth. That's what it is. I don't know about you, but I want to be perfect. I want to be as perfect as I can be, right? So I'm going to keep the laws because I love my soul and I love my Creator that created me, right? So I'm going to keep the laws. I'm going to teach my brothers to keep the law also, because that's how we become perfect. That's how we get the assurance of immortality, right? That's why we, as a nation, make sure that there's not going to be a homeless Israelite out there cold, hungry, without clothes, and it get rained on them. That's how we get the promises of us not going hungry again, of us not being separated from our children, of our children not dying too young, right? But if you want these things to keep happening to you, by all means, keep sinning, keep staying in your sin, right? And incorruption maketh us near unto God. Incorruption brings us closer to the Most High. Like Hosea 5:15 says, our iniquity have separated us from the Most High, right? And he's turned his face from us, right? Keeping the laws will bring us closer to him. If what got me in trouble is what separated me from my power, then I got to do the opposite of what got me in trouble, right? It's only logical, right? Therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom, right? The desire of you keeping the law, statutes, commandments gets you rulership, because that's the promise that the Most High made to us. If you do these sets of law that I set before you, you will be the best nation on earth, and that's what the kingdom is. The kingdom is rulership. The Israelites having everlasting dominion, right? As Daniel 2, I believe, in 44 on down states, right? The kingdom shall not be left to other people. Rulership is not going to be given to other nations. It's going to be given to you Israelites, if you keep these laws, statutes, commandments, right? Bring it to a kingdom. If your delight then be in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom, that ye may reign forevermore. If you want rulership, simple, keep the laws, statutes, commandments, right? They're not grievous to you, they're for your benefit. They're not going to, the Most High didn't set them out to shirk you. Oh, yeah, I know you really want to eat pork, and pork actually is good for you, but I just don't want you to eat it. No, pork is actually bad for you. These laws are for your good, to be as healthy as possible, to be as kind to each other as possible, to be as prosperous as possible. That's what the law is for, right? They're not to hurt you. They're not to make you feel bad about yourself. They're to bring us up as a nation, as a people group, right? So let's get John 5 and 3, right? Because the commandments are not grievous at all. The commandments are building blocks, right? So this is the book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. His commandments are not grievous at all, right? His commandments are not grievous at all to anybody, least of all the Israelites, especially the Israelites, because they're given to you. They're to make you better, because the Most High has so much love for you that he gave you something that will make you better, that will make you distinct, right? The Most High has separated you from the rest of people. Thus, he gave you a different code of conduct from the people out there, right? You're not the same as them. You're different, right? Our people like to say we're built different. Well, then act different. Don't do what other people do, right? If you're built different, then you can't act the same as the other people. You're so-called built different, right? Well, show it. So let's get Job. This is the book of Job, chapter 28, verse 28. And it said, and unto the man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding, right? So the fear of the Lord is wisdom. If you're not keeping the fear of the Lord, if you're not keeping it, then you're in a congregation of the dead, as Proverbs 21 and 16 says, right? You're in a congregation of the dead. And our people, I like to say this, our people are dead out there. They're the living dead, right? They're walking zombies. They're corpses. They're rotting corpses because they're not keeping the law, statutes, commandments, right? And they don't love themselves because they're willingly, well, as willingly as possible, because we know there is no free will, but the illusion of willingly choosing to sin, right? That's what they're out there doing, because we're out there bidding them to the marriage every day. We've literally, me and a couple of brothers on Thursday after we held, was it Thursday? It was Saturday after we held camp, right? We walked down, we typically hold camp on 13th and Market in Philadelphia, right? So we finished camp, we went down, saluted the brothers at City Hall, and then literally walked down 13th and Market, and I kid you not, we didn't even walk 5 blocks, and we've seen like 4 or 5 Israelite camps. There's literally nowhere you can go where you won't see Israelite camps. So we're out there day and night trying to bid our people to the marriage, at this point, you have to be looking the other way to not have known that there are Israelites out there, right? You have to be putting your earphones in and walking fast past, which you do to not know that you're an Israelite, right? So you hate yourself because you won't come back to your knowledge, right? The way of prosperity, the way of life. You hate yourself because you're choosing death and not keeping the law, statutes, commandments. You're suicidal. That is simple. You're simply suicidal, right? So let's get Psalms. Shalakia. Let me reread that again because there's another part I wanted to bring out about that. So it said, and unto the man he said, behold, to fear the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. But our people have not departed from evil. We keep doing that which is contrary to the Lord, which is evil, right? We keep doing that which is contrary to the Lord, which is contrary to the Lord, which is the sinning, right? Which is not keeping the law, right? We keep doing that, and then we expect to prosper. No, that's not how it is. You entered into a contract. You do this, I do that. You're not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. You're not going to depart from evil, I'm not going to make you the best nation. That's why you're destroyed as a people. And you knowing that, departed from the law. And that's why you hate your own soul. That's what the whole theme of this lesson, to show that our people truly don't love themselves. If they did, they would keep the commandments. But because they don't keep the commandments, which is why they're dying out here. And still, in their death, refuse to turn back to the Most High. Still in their destruction, they still refuse to turn back to the Most High. That is really foolish, right? So let's get Psalms 110, the fear of the Most High, right? So this is the book of 111 and 10. Right, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever. If you're doing his commandments, you have a good understanding, right? You have wisdom, but you don't have wisdom. That's why you grieve your own soul when you sin. You think you know something, but in the end, you're just hurting yourself. You're like an angsty teenager who thinks he's rebelling, who thinks he knows better than his parents. But if you keep going, you're going to end up homeless, right? You're going to end up getting kicked. Well, you already got kicked out of your house, right? But your father's pleading with you to come back, but you're still being rebellious. You're still throwing your little hissy fit. And in a little while, you're going to be put to death because there are people out there trying to kill you, right? There are nations out there confederate against you. If you don't come back home soon, they're going to kill you. If you don't return from your wicked ways soon, you will be destroyed, right? Via thermonuclear fire. And that's the end of that. And your decisions have got you that judgment because you refuse to turn back, right? So I'm just going to close out with this precept. Right, so this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding, right? So if you don't want the lake of fire, if you don't want destruction, right? If you don't want to die a grievous death, seek wisdom. It's the principal thing, which is these laws, statutes, commandments, which are the first 5 books of the Bible. Seek those things. Seek to understand those things, and add to it the faith in Yahushua Mashiach, who died for you, right? Who died to bring you life. Those 2 things coupled together, seek those things. That's where your wisdom is. When you fear the Most High, those are the byproducts of those things, right? You have to fear the Most High, you have to keep the commandments, and you have to have faith in Yahushua Mashiach. And fearing the Most High will bring about those 2 things, right? So, if you love your own soul, that's the way you're going to go. That's the lifestyle you're going to seek. You're not going to seek to be going out there with your own wisdom, right? You're going to seek to come out of thus saith the Lord, right? You're going to seek to come out of whatever the Most High commands me to do, that's what I'm going to do. Whatever Yahushua commands me to do, that's what I'm going to do, right? You're going to seek the wisdom of the ancients, right? I believe that's Jeremiah 6. Stand in the old ways, seek out the ways of the ancients. And that's it. Yeah, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways, and as for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find the rest for your souls. They said we will not walk therein. And you say you don't want to walk therein, because again, you hate your souls, right? You hate your own flesh. You hate the fact that, I don't know how ass backwards of a people you can be. You hate the fact that you had everything given to you. Like what? You hate the fact that you were the top nation. You hate the fact that you were eating the riches of the Gentiles. You hate the fact that you were prosperous. Why? Because you just hate yourself. The commandments are not grievous to you, so it can't be that. Maybe you just got tired of having everything handed to you. I don't know about you, but I would never get tired of having everything handed to me because, unlike you, I don't want to work. Maybe you want to work, slaves the sweat of your brow for everything, but I don't. Right? I want to stay home. I want to relax. I want to read scripture. I want to congregate with brothers. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to keep the law, statutes, commandments because I know that that's life. If I do that, I'm going to get life and I'm going to get the assurance of immortality. That's what I'm going to get. So that's what I'm going to do because that's what I want. But if you want death, then by all means, keep continuing your destructive lifestyle and see where that lands you. But don't say that the brothers and sisters didn't warn you, right? The brothers out there preaching the word didn't try to warn you, didn't try to bid you to the marriage, didn't try to convert you from your wicked lifestyle, put you in a remembrance of the old ways which your forefathers lived in, right? So with that, I just want to say again, our people need to truly start loving their own souls, right? With that, I want to say shalom. Hope this lesson has been edifying and exhorting the brothers and sisters out there. Right, and with that I say death and destruction to America and shalom.